back to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS, presented by Fisherman's Marine and Outdoor.
Welcome back, everyone. We're joined by Mr. Bruce Polley from the CCA Oregon. We're talking a little bit about the barbless hook rule on the Columbia. We kind of roadmapped it a little bit, kind of how it happened back in 2012. You know, there's a lot of perspectives. There's a lot of different takes on that. In the end, big picture of things, back in 2012, this was a source of tremendous frustration, right? It was a source of frustration because we were giving up a little bit to get a little bit. Well, we didn't get anything in a lot of people's opinions, right? Because the kill nets are still on the main stem Columbia.
Way less than they ever have been in history.
Way less than they ever were, but yet still
in the fall.
They're there, okay? And it's something that is frustrating for a number of reasons. Now, yet being the fall, we get that. But we had to give up barbless hooks, and that's not changed at all. I mean, nothing has changed.
Well, and they didn't give us an adjustment in the mortality rate, which is frustrating.
Very good. That's a good point.
But, you know, they're still kind of saying that we're a 10% mortality rate.
Right.
And, like, so we took this new rule. We also, if you recall, adopted a new rule prior to that said we have to keep the fish in the water if we're going to release it.
Right.
So when you net a fish on the Columbia River, you don't throw it on the deck of your boat. You keep it over the side,
right.
Sea lions and all, get the hooks out, and then dump them back in the river.
Right.
Better on the fish. Do we like that? Sure, we like that.
Sure.
Did they give us a mortality reduction? No. Should they? Yes.
Right.
So, yeah, it's frustrating in that regard.
It certainly is.
We all want to do what's best for the fish.
Well, that's kind of how this all started.
Right.
You know, to get the kill nets off the main stem Columbia, that was about the fish. Now, it was angled by a number of sources to try to paint that as not being the case, but the reality of it is it was for the betterment of the runs themselves, the fish themselves, so they had a better chance to get to the gravel, right?
That's right.
Well, that all kind of, it's not completely, you can tell that I'm trying to hold myself. We've done this for a long time. Back in 2012, when all this was going on, I had Bruce Polley and the folks from the CCA in here in the middle of everything happening. So I feel like I was there when it was kind of going on. Well, I was. And so were you.
Even if he was mad at us.
Oh, dude, I was not happy. And nor was a lot of people. And for good reason.
I know. I'm out there too.
I mean, for good reason. But we are where we are. It's 2025. There's been promises made and a lot of them not kept.
Nope.
And we yet are still paying the Columbia River endorsement. And that leads me to my next question.
Okay.
So we already know that the barbless hook thing, you're working on that. The CCA, all the volunteers, which, number one, thank you for all the folks at the CCA, all the volunteers for the time and effort they put in on that. But there is always that question of the Columbia River endorsement. Is there anything that's being worked on there? I mean, is that still something that we're going to have to look at and pay? I know that it kind of went away in Washington and then came back, and you know, so now we're still paying that.
We're still paying that, and you know, it was promised to us right in the fishing regulations that this money was being used in order to shift gill nets off the main stem of the Columbia River.
Right.
And then within 2 years of that, they quit saying that out loud ever again.
They took the verbiage out of
like, la, 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 we never really said that. And
unless you hold up like I did. Well, here it is. Oh, that's
which
a long way.
I've got it on my home page of my computer at home.
Absolutely.
I can click on it and look at it. But no, it's. I think we're still going to have an endorsement. It gives us a tool that we can kind of push ODFW. Like, we want these recreational priorities, and the biggest way we use that as a tool is when the Washington Commission was trying to push the Oregon Commission to give more allocation back to the gill netters that we had gotten back in 2012. We said, if the allocation shifts from where it currently is, you lose a Columbia River endorsement from Oregon.
Right.
And so it put some teeth in it. And ODFW didn't want to accept that, but we worked our political efforts. You know, that's why we have political staff, and we maintain relationships. And we were successful in getting that put into law. So the Columbia Basin endorsement is protecting the removal of gill nets that we've gotten done so far.
Right.
And it's making more fish.
I would say out of all this in 2012, that's been the bright spot. And I know that a lot of people aren't going to agree with that because we're still paying the Columbia River endorsement. But if you pay attention to what that money has done, the leverage that it allows, it has actually been a good thing. Again, I know there's a lot of folks that are going to be yelling at the TV right now, and I completely understand. But you have to pay attention to the little things and also the big picture. Having that kind of leverage is a good thing. And that money has been used in a good way. Hatcheries, for crying out loud, Leeburg.
We got the Leeburg hatchery. That's right. You got it.
So,
I mean, I'm very proud of you. You've been listening. But
I've been stuck in this for like almost 18 years here, my friend.
Quite a while. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, the Leeburg hatchery, it was the first hatchery that Oregon has bought and started, brought online. It did belong to the Army Corps of Engineers, and we got it over to the ODFW, and they're making spring Chinook. And people keep saying, oh, well, because of the Columbia reforms, you've put less spring Chinook in the Willamette River system. Like, it's not true.
No, that's not true.
It's still like 6.2 million.
Right.
And because we did that because we had that facility available to be able to make those fish. Right. And when they had the big fires that went through Rock Creek and all that, the fire in the gorge that went through the Eagle Creek hatchery, they took those fish and moved them down to Leeburg because they had the space. Right. And then before they released them, they moved them back up to Eagle Creek and were able to release them back.
That's a success story by itself, not to get too far off.
Absolutely. We got to have those facilities.
That's a huge thing.
Yeah, and it's got good water.
Yeah. So frustrating, yes. But there's some good there, okay? We all know, and we're going to get the emails, we're going to get the Facebook posts and all that stuff about they're still kill nets and this and that, and what's the CCA doing? They're fighting for the fish, okay? I mean, this is what this is all about. And every single time, and you know this, if you're not part of the fix, meaning a part of the CCA, I'm not going to just say you're directly part of the problem, but you're not helping anything. You can bark and moan all you want, and outdoors people are really, really good at that. But getting involved, and a lot of that is with your dollars. Again, frustrating as it might be, but that's just the way the world works, unfortunately. But, okay, so even more. Let's take this a little bit further. ODFW, the commission there, would you call it a positive commission now for the outdoors person as maybe what it was just a handful of years ago? Or is it still the same? There's been a lot of change. Oregon got one more congressional district that we didn't used to have because our population grew. Right. They reshuffled how they represent each of the commissioners represent a different part of the state. And now we have one more commissioner than we used to have. And there's two brand new ones that have just come online. One that we've interviewed, one that we haven't. Or I think Sean's meeting with them on Tuesday. So, and there's a new lady from Eastern Oregon, comes from a ranching family that she seems like she's going to be pretty positive for our issues. I haven't met her yet. I haven't really seen her in a commission meeting yet, but yeah, it's changed a lot. Labhart and Bob Spellbrink and even Mary Wall. I mean, they're the ones that have been around kind of the longest now. So I think they'll kind of set the tone. I hope they do because we kind of their tone's been pretty good, especially Labhart and Spellbrink. So anyway. Yeah, our job is to work with who we get. I mean, we don't have a choice. The last one that we picked and tried to put on the commission and were successful getting on the commission was Jim Biddle from Woolly Boats. Sure. And he did a great job while he was there, but he's not there anymore. So we have to work with who's there and try to make sure that they're educated on our issues and understand what we're trying to do. Yeah, I think educated on the issues is a really, really good way to put that. Yep. To be educated on the issues. Yep. I mean, really. Just imagine if that was the case with all the commissioners on both sides of the river, fully educated on. We're going to stop there. We're going to be back in just a minute to wrap up our conversation with Bruce Polley. Don't